What's up, Tang Gang? My name is Tangy Tick, your TF2 agent and your Helldivers 2 Fire Safety Officer. Today I'm going to be talking about Scout. Scout is a difficult class for beginners to get the hang of, but why is that? I'm going to answer that question and also give some good information on how to play him as a beginner, along with some advanced tips for the ambitious mosquitoes. Why is Scout hard to play as a beginner? And what are you doing wrong? Well, this doesn't all boil down to a skill issue. I remember when I first played, I played Scout. It sucked. Not because I sucked per se. I just felt weak and underpowered. I knew my speed was what I needed to rely on, but I didn't know how. One of the things that this super polished game doesn't help with is the class types. We have offense, defense, and support. And these are misleading. We will be getting into more detail of this in a bit, but this is just simply too vague to the new player. Also, what I call the new player hive mind mentality, which is where a new player loads in, sees big heavy classes, goes, ooh, 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 me follow, right into a fight they can't win. Basically, with no knowledge from outside sources, you are force-fed subliminal messaging in the game to do exactly what the class is designed not to do. You also don't want to go out of your way to fight soldiers or heavies unless under specific circumstances. But now I will cover team rules to get a grasp of strategy, team play, and what your role is specifically. We'll take a look at this amazing depiction of an average TF2 map. In the middle, we have the center of attention, whether this be a point or a busy place on the map. This is what that represents. We have the different layers here, depicting front, mid, and back lines for each team. Now, the front line is pretty obvious. The ones directly confronting the point of interest in question. So these are your heavies, soldiers, demomen, and pyros. Demomen and pyros are also good at area denial, so they'll go out of their way to block certain strategical locations, choke points, and other things the enemies need to win. But everybody else has a more refined and unique part to play as a team. If we look at the midline, we have two people. Medic is the main one here. Medic stays right behind the front line in the midline, healing everyone in the front line. Sniper kinda bounces between mid and back lines as he sits farther behind, picking off the more important targets from a distance. Now the back line is where things get interesting, and mainly what we are focused on today. As you can see, we have an engineer. I've seen the majority of NGs in my day building in the backlines, but it does depend on the playstyle of the particular NG you're going against or playing with. And also, if they are running the gunslinger or not. Most of the time, the NG is preventing entry with a deadly sentry, so you have to avoid that. But as you see here, there are enemy scouts and spies in the backlines. What's that about? This is because you and your spy have similar roles in this game. Infiltrate the enemy into the backlines and cause chaos within. Though one is a little more sneaky about it. This is what people get wrong. As mentioned earlier, new scouts go right to the fight, when really they should be flanking and picking fights with valuable targets. Now, how do you apply this knowledge to play the Mosquito class? Well, the first one is... wait, you're doing it right now. Getting to know the game better from more experienced players is always a good way to start off your improvement journey. But listening doesn't just give you the power all of a sudden to be good. So now you need to get your own experience. I hear people saying to play an easier class when you start off to learn the basics. No! This couldn't be farther from the truth. When I started playing Medic and Scout. In my opinion, two classes that aren't too beginner friendly. And my skills drastically improved faster than anybody else playing Heavy and Soldier. The best way to get better at this game in general is to try different classes that are harder or not your cup of tea so you know how they work and you can play in synergy with them. Playing as Scout off the bat is a learning curve that will be very rewarding in a few weeks and will encourage you to learn different classes so you can improve your Scout game even more. In order to do your job of flanking right, it comes down to map knowledge. And the most efficient way to do this is to play Scout, so it's full circle. Once you know how TF2 maps typically work, you can take alternate routes, different from the main path to get past the enemy. You want to run fast and sting like a hornet. Be swift but not obvious, and jump unsuspecting enemies that are vital to their team's function. If you get in a fight, and there's more than one person, run, dodge, and weave. Just get away. You're too fragile of a class to be getting in big fights. You can always run back to your team, where the enemy will have a harder time getting to you. You have now infiltrated the back line, like the insect you are. Now we need to know what to do strategically. We are going to go back to the super high quality presentation. You can see once we get back here, we have multiple options. We can target the snipers if the enemy has them. Snipers will pick off the most important teammates you have just by clicking on their head from a long range. So you want to dispose of these Australian menaces as quickly as possible. Now, we are in the big play. As a Scout, this is your main purpose. If you die but still do this successfully, it was a good life. This step is to take out our favorite, crazy, German medical professional. Take him out, then go to the point. If you can get the medic, chances are you're somewhat near the point. If the point isn't captured, help with that, because you count as double for the capture rate. If the point is captured, then retreat into your side. Regroup, then repeat. Thank you guys for clicking on this video. Remember to keep jumping and don't run into the fight like a constipated chimpanzee. That's all for this video. Have a good one.